On August 12, 1922, my dad, his mother Edith, his older brother Bill, his aunt and uncle, and several cousins were riding in a passenger train from Minneapolis to Annandale, Minnesota, when the passenger train was hit by an oil delivery truck. The impact of the crash was so severe that it threw the oil truck against a switch, which then derailed several of the passenger cars of the train. Those cars then collided with the engine of a freight train that was getting ready to pull out of the siding. The luggage car was immediately destroyed. The smoker car caught fire, and of the 31 passengers that were either killed or seriously injured were riding in that car. And the car directly behind them was the car that my dad and his family were riding in. Many years later, my dad would describe that event to me as his 6-year-old eyes perceived it. He saw passengers that had been strewn from the train, lying on the ground, dead, dying, bleeding, some pinned under the wreckage. He remembered being dropped from the train and caught in somebody's arms before he hit the ground. He recalled smoke and horror. And within a year, his mother, Edith, would die from what her doctors believed were injuries relating to that train wreck. So at the age of 7, my dad was essentially motherless. Fast forward 22 years later, by this time my dad's married. He's serving in the United States Navy as a hangar deck officer in the USS Enterprise aircraft carrier. And on one particular day, the kamikazes are stalking the Enterprise. And a pilot flies his aircraft over the ship and at the last minute flips it into the elevator shaft where the bomb detonates. The impact blew the elevator deck over 400 feet into the air. Several sailors were either killed or were seriously injured. 6 of those killed were in the immediate proximity of my dad. And had he not been standing behind a steel beam, he would have been killed. After my dad's mom, Edith, died, he was raised by his father, CP. And he learned at a very early age from his father that when you encounter tragedy and adversity, like the loss of a parent at an early age, you have to look forward with optimism and with positive attitudes. You can't look backwards and dwell on the misfortune and the tragedy. That would be a lesson that Dad would take with him throughout his entire lifetime. Serving in World War II only re-intensified and strengthened my dad's belief in the Darwinian theory, or the survival of the fittest. He believed that nations and teams and groups and individuals had to be strong. It's a very competitive world, and if you're going to be successful, you had to be tough and you had to fight.